Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
All right, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but we got 1 minute until the PPI. Do we have time to go through the charts? Yes, we do. Okay, to the charts. Here we go. ZN. Pretty much where we were yesterday, but after a bit of wrangling around. ES. Higher overnight. Oil coming down a little bit. Silver and gold holding their range, maybe breaking the downside a little bit. Copper taking a hit overnight. Japanese yen, well, I was told that there was a move, but I don't see it, so okay. And then Bitcoin down at the bottom here. So here comes the news. We got about 10 seconds. That's weird. All of the stuff that I read overnight was like, oh, the government supports a rate hike and the Japanese yen is higher. Okay, so here what we're getting. Well, on initial jobless claims, a little bit higher than expected, 209 versus 202, but the number we care about, PPI month over month, is 0 versus an expected spot 2, and core PPI month over month, spot 2 versus spot 3. So I'm actually quite surprised on that. I was a little bit worried that on the producer side that we would maybe see again that the producers are actually eating all of the cost increases, but that is not what is happening. We are just not, over the last month at least, really seeing the inflation. So when I look at the Hormuz crisis, let's give it a second. We are going to have Barkin speaking here in 10 minutes, and we have a 30-year auction today. That's another major factor. Yes, we're getting some interesting flows through here. So let me finish my oatmeal here, and then we can talk about Hormuz.
Block buy.
My news squawk is just like, oh, the treasuries are holding their gains after the benign PPI numbers. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like by 2 ticks. Come on. We got something interesting going on in the market, which is an extremely low volatility range. And I think that this is primarily because of summer action. Like, what happened was, you know, there tends to be less activity in the summer. And then there was a lot of activity at the beginning of the summer. because of Hormuz and whatnot. And so I think that they are just spent. I am convinced that the market is not going to do a whole lot meaningful on the macro side until after Labor Day, and maybe not even until after the election.
Block by.
Oh, hey, good morning, Amir. I should say good morning to Kevin and Ray as well. Well, Fed's Homic says, my view is we need to act now. How can he say that? And how can he say that and the treasuries not react at all? I'm going to go and get some more water because I don't have a whole lot of water. And if Hammock is going to be saying shit like that, we got to lock in. I don't know. All right. So here's the thing with the Hormuz. Nothing's happening over there. But I saw a story yesterday that I thought was kind of curious, and it was Iran was complaining that the Trump administration is manipulating markets. And I think this was them denying the story from Pakistan about negotiations or something like that. So why would Iran be bringing that up? Because isn't that, to me, that just sounds kind of whiny. But I think it's that the Iranians believe that they will have even more leverage in the future. And perhaps the reason they think that that could be the case is because higher oil prices would pressure the president politically. But if they're able to keep oil prices low until after the midterms, and it seems to me that in the current situation, they are able to keep oil prices low as long as there is not some sort of escalation from Iran. That could prove to be wrong because it could be that it's the oil reserves that are kind of keeping things down. And if they're not able to pump from the oil reserves anymore, then maybe we would see a shift and oil would start going higher again. So that's kind of the wild card there. But I'm kind of wondering if the Trump administration is just going, okay, well, now is not really a good time. We do care about the midterms, yada, yada, yada. So they do the midterms and then they go scorched earth on Iran. Or maybe the status quo just kind of continues and they just kind of wash their hands with it. That's still a possibility, I suppose. But in the meantime, I think that the market has decided that if nothing's going on with that they're going to take the vacation they missed at the beginning of the summer. So kind of interesting. We have created a rule to try and detect stops. And looking at it, it's not detecting that many. And I'm kind of like, that's a little weird. But then maybe it is true and there just isn't that many stops. At least in the 10-year treasury. At least not right now. But let's give it the full session and have it analyzed at the end of the session. We did end up moving back to the top of that range post news. So that whole thing was kind of interesting how that played out. Let me come in here and make sure that my levels are set correctly. Oh. Okay. So we're kind of at a stopping point, essentially. I don't understand. Are you working? Yes, I'm working on a stop indicator. So I found a confluence of conditions that essentially, based on the way that the data works, from my understanding, shouldn't happen and does happen. And as such, my theory is that the reason you see it is because that order is a stop order being converted. And I'm skeptical about it because you don't see that many stop orders actually triggered. At least not in this first 30 minutes. Like, it says that it saw 6 orders like that. So that's kind of curious. I'm wondering, what if maybe it was on ES? Would you see a lot more? Because maybe there really just aren't that many stops in CN. But what I'm doing, a lot of this is based on what discussion I've seen about this subject and everything online, and so this is the only kind of method that really fits in with what people are saying. But I'm thinking on that one that everybody was just speculating and that none of them actually know how the bookmap indicator works. So yeah. I don't know. So I'm thinking, because I've made a bunch of changes on this branch to do that, I think that there's a little bit of polish that we need to do. Thinking about what I need to do. Yeah, they still haven't figured out how bookmap stops work. I suppose something that we could do is we could have somebody that has the bookmap indicator and have them, look at it in the 10-year treasury, and maybe they match up. Maybe the bookmap one says, oh yeah, there just wasn't a whole lot of orders like that in ZN. Then I would know for sure that's what they're doing. Possibility. I'm kind of looking at where we're at. Some people have simulated it. What does ATAS have an indicator for it? You better not be getting that from a large language model. And tell you if stops happen this session. Well, we would only be able to look at going forward, right? But if ATAS has it, you could maybe look at their code. I don't know how their indicators work. Let's search ATAS stop detection. MBO-based indicator in the ATAS marketplace. So I see something in an MBO bundle for ATAS, and their description of it kind of is in line with what I see. Stop Run Tracker analyzes unique order IDs in the MBO stream, identifies hidden stop orders at the moment they transform into market orders, and consolidates them into a single array. Because, see, here again, if it's a market order, then it's not going to show up in the MBO feed, because that's only limit orders. But it could detect stop limit. What we're doing could also detect stop limit orders. That's the other thing. I'm only detecting stop market orders right now. But basically, an order with an old order ID without an accompanying change. There might also be, I wonder if there are ones where there's like changes with change ones, but they're not, they don't have like a previous price. That would be curious. This is from the vendor itself, though. So we wouldn't be able to see the code. I'm going to try using Claude Deep Research. That's what I'm doing. I think the simulators can only identify stop orders based on the speed at which aggressive orders are executed. I don't know about that. Okay, so one of the things that is like really kind of interesting is the LLM had the theory that maybe it is able to detect it based on the timestamp. So like if a market order comes in and then that triggers a bunch of stops, then the market order and all of the stops would be shown to be occurring at the exact same time. And so it did that. And what it found was that when you had like a bunch of orders that were all the same time, it would go and look at the aggressor ID in them, and the aggressor ID was always the same. Meaning that it was just a large market order that filled multiple limit orders and not the stops. So if the stops are triggered, they come out several microseconds later. So isn't that curious? It will come in, the market order will be timestamped, then it comes in and it says, okay, now I got to go and look at stop orders. I'm going to do this stop order and this stop order and this stop order. And each time it does each one of those, then it timestamps them. And so they all get slightly different timestamps. Hey, Steph. So you cannot determine that it was stopped by the timestamp, as far as I can tell. Using the timestamp to reconstruct the market orders does appear to work, though. But using MBO, by the way, Steph, what we're talking about is how do you detect using MBO data that a particular market order was a stop order, and have the application in here looking at a particular condition, and it seems to identify them, or it seems to identify orders like that, but not as many as I expected. So I'm not sure if I figured it out or not. So that's what we're talking about. And Amir says that he can open it up and bookmap and tell you if they happened this session. And Stefa says if it swept some way, I guess. Yeah, so there could be this thing where it's like, well, if you have a market order and it comes in and it hits like multiple prices or things like that, then that could potentially detect that it was a stop for you. But here's the thing. What if it's a one lot? You know, what if we're just looking for retail traders stopping out of their one lot trades, right? Then those kinds of methods I don't think would very effectively show it. Okay, you said that there was a 251 lot buy stop on ZN. Okay. At what price? What? I've already used 95% of my session limit? Maybe I shouldn't have... Maybe I will not use Cloud Code for it. Oh, I know why. Because I came in here and used Cloud Code to do deep research. And it did the research. It's doing the research. That's why. Okay, but I can do it by hand. It's okay. Work. Rust. And then where was it putting it? I think it was putting it in logs. Order flow 0813. Hit it with Notepad. Okay. So probably the easiest way to see if we found if it's exactly the same would be to search for 251. What is ID velocity? Oh, I think that is that is the metric that I'm making. Like, how long has it how long has it been around total? 251. Well, there's one that's 2513. That seems awfully close. Maybe you forgot a 3 on there, Amir? Wait, and you said it was at 265? Well, where's the price here? Let's see here. So I think what we do is we say 0.6875 times 64. Nope, 64 plus 44 divided by 2 is 22. 22 divided by 32. Oops. 22 divided by 32. 6875. Okay, so that one was at 22. And you said that it was at 26 half. Okay. 26.5 divided by 32. 828125. Too bad your indicator doesn't tell you the exact order IDs. Then we could just search through my log for the exact order ID. It also does not give the timestamp. So that kind of doesn't help us correlate it. Now over here, the deep research is still going. And Stefan, were you able to integrate MBO data? Yes. So I'm still a little bit wilded out by this because I thought that you had to have the more expensive rhythmic feed in order to look at MBO data. But I found the calls in the API and they work. Offrey says, I told you, yeah, I think Offrey was Offrey is. Wait, I've never sat and thought about how you say your name, AU. Even though you've been around here for forever, that's funny. No, you were totally right. I think that maybe what the more expensive feed gives you is the MBO history. Because off rare. Oh, okay. Off rare. Because there's one call that I make that when I make it, it doesn't return back. And it's the call that looks like it is to
block by
get the current book. Right? So what I'm doing is I'm getting all of the MBO updates, new orders, updated orders, deleted orders, etc., right? But there's all of the orders that are like already sitting there resting. I don't get those, right? I have to wait and build up that book myself. So I think there's this other call that, based on its name, seems to imply that it will give you all of the existing orders that are already on the book as tracked by Rhythmic. And that doesn't return anything back to me. So that must be the thing that I thought you have to have the more expensive feed to get. Right? So now that I have the MBO data working, what do you do with it? Well, there's a couple of little things where it's kind of useful. Like, you can construct cumulative delta perfectly, except for that in Rhythmic they already sign the orders for you, so that doesn't really make a big difference. Reconstructing trades, like the market orders, and seeing, okay, this market order filled this many people, and kind of doing what the Jigsaw reconstructed trade thing does. That's better, right? And I can point out large orders within the book. Might be interesting. I'm not quite sure what else I want to do with it. I don't know. I'm still kind of sitting here thinking, nah, you know what? Steph should just come back and help me make the Dom part, because it's a little scary to create a C corporation, but it sounded kind of fun. Like, that's the push. It's like, if it seems scary, that must be a reason to do it. So I was literally, as Steph was saying, I don't know if I'm committed right now enough to do it. I totally understand that, right? But I was like literally gonna be like calling the lawyer and like paying for it the next day. So yeah, aggressor flag is not exposed in Ninja, unfortunately. Yeah. So there's kind of some interesting things about this that kind of makes me wonder, like, oh, okay. There's all sorts of stuff that is available here that Ninja Trader never surfaced. And I'm convinced that it must be because Ninja has decided that they are focused entirely on their offering, and they're kind of abandoning all of the other feeds. And what I have to do is like, get everything going with Rhythmic, and then maybe at some point later when there's a feed that doesn't support that, I have to have fallback logic for it. Okay, so Amir is saying he's seen another one at 29. candidate. Aggressive old ID. I hate that I have to come in here and use the calculator. Oh wait, here it is. 0.906 25 times 32 was 29. And you said that it was 156. I mean, well, that is kind of weird. So I'm not getting the exact match to what Amir is saying, but I am seeing stops at that price. And you know what? All right, fine. 97 plus 3 plus 5 plus 1 plus 31. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Plus 13. And you said 156. Oh, there's some more candidates right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then right there. First. I am doing it. So it says that there was a stop. It was 156. It wasn't one stop that was 156. It was all of the stops that got triggered there were together 156 lots. Problem is the stop order estimates don't match the volume on the shown on the tape. I don't know about that. You say 149 buy happened. Well, like, watch. Come in here. Oh, I didn't get one. Just coming in here and doing a search. Should be surfacing. Yeah. I've noticed a few people making platforms of late. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think that what you should expect to see is a lot of people releasing software right now. Right? Like the number of requests for applications on the Apple App Store has skyrocketed, right? And now on the platform side, I personally haven't seen people making full platforms, but there was that that Italian guy that he kind of pushed the platform, but it was actually kind of just a rebranding and slightly different charts of an existing platform. But still, I'm sure that there are probably other people making platforms, right? The question is, like, what does their platform do? Okay, reload it. No, I didn't get any candidates through that section. So what it's doing here is it's giving me a summary of the events every minute. So it's basically saying it's been a few minutes since it saw stop. But this stop run right here, like when you get the burst, and I'm curious about what the burst is. I forget the exact details of what the LLM was looking for a burst. But it's curious. It gets a burst, and then there's a bunch of orders at the price that you were talking about. And when you add them together, it is the amount that you were talking about. So I do think that we have found the method that they are using. In a year or so, AI will just do everything, and Codex and Cursor will just I really don't think so. So here's a couple of things. First of all, the large language models lower the bar for being able to make software, for sure. But they don't necessarily expand the number of people that are able to make good software. Like, if you come in and you just let the LLM do everything and you just take everything that it gives you at face value, it really makes junk. Like, it really does. It's crazy. Like, the thing that I think is the most funny is I'll say, okay, do this task. Okay, cool. Now code review the code that you just wrote. And it will find the craziest stuff in the code that it just wrote. That is like, well, why would you write it that way then, you moron? Right? And then when I ask it to go through reviews of like design decisions, like, okay, which data structure should we use for this part of the program? Go through the things. And the conclusions that it makes are always dead wrong. Always dead wrong. It's like, it has the ability to go through and like reason, here are the pluses and minuses of these different solutions, but it's not able to go in and say, okay, which of those are relevant to the specific situation that we're in, and is therefore has the most pluses and least minuses relative to our risk profile and yada yada. Like, it just can't do that kind of analysis yet, right? So what you're seeing a lot of crappy software being released, right? Like, think about it. How like, has there been some new app on your phone that you're just absolutely enamored with? You know, it's changed your life for so much. You know, you use it every day now. Not really. People are just releasing more junk, right? So that's the first thing. Now, the problem with that argument is, now I've just spent a ton of time on an argument, right? Now I'm going to destroy that argument, right? Which is, well, but the LLMs could get better. Yeah, I think they will probably get better. I'm a little bit skeptical about how much better they can get, because I do feel like in some areas the progress is kind of stagnated. And some of the most progress is probably going to be more in the loop that they do. Like, they're going to kind of figure out to do the loops that I'm already doing. Like, have the LLM make the code, then have it review the code, and have it review over specific things before giving you the code. And then maybe it will give you something better, right? Yeah, LLMs must be near their ceiling. Yeah, well, there needs to be some other technology attached onto the side of it to make it more effective, to make it significantly more effective, at least. But that could happen soon too. Like, I don't think that they're necessarily far off from something like that. Like is that going to happen in the next 10 years? I think it could. Right? Okay. So there's a couple of other things though. Okay. The first one is part of the value of an application is having a standard. Right? So everybody coming in and they're all using the same trading platform. And so you can go on the internet and say, okay, here's how you use this platform. Here's these tools and tutorials about that. Like, that's a thing. So I don't buy this idea that in the future, all software will just be like custom and yada, yada, yada. I really don't think so. I think that probably what you're going to see more of instead is there are going to be, for sophisticated enough use cases, trading platforms is one of them, video editors, image editing, probably IDEs, right? There's going to be the base platform, and then built into the platform will be tools for the LLM to customize the platform for you. It's probably going to go more that direction, right? Yeah, tailored and not bespoke. Yeah, there you go, right? You get the base platform, and then you customize it to your liking, which is basically what our platform is, right? Our platform is basically, okay, there's some things that we want to do, other platforms won't do. So we're going to make something that is on the right tools that weren't really available before this year. And because we're using those right tools now, you can customize it to do anything that you want. Right now, I can make any indicator that I want, and I can include machine learning in it and all this stuff, right? That's basically what we're doing. And when you ask Claude Code to make a new indicator for my platform, it's amazing how effective it is. It really is. So there's that, okay? But I think that there's an even higher level argument that I want to make. That just keep in mind, because I think that this could really help guide a lot of future investment decisions, right? So there's this whole thing of like, well, is software as a service dead now? All of that sort of a thing, right? Well, how can I find a free API for Claude Code? You can't. You just pay the $20 a month. And you get a lot of usage for the $20 a month. There are the local models. You can go that route. Okay. Anyways, the question is, at what level in your application is the actual value, or at what level in your business is the actual value? So the thing with a lot of the most successful ideas is that the value tends to be at a very, very high level, right? The higher level the value is, the more transformational of a technology or business it tends to be, right? So if you're doing a startup, you want a high level value add, right? So like, I think the best example of this would be like Uber. Okay, I'm going to crowdsource taxis. Instead of having dedicated taxi workers, I'm going to allow everybody to install it on their phone and become a taxi. Crowdsourcing taxi. That's what Uber, and then like Uber Eats is the same thing. They are crowdsourcing delivery, right? It's a very, very high level value add, right? I can explain to you the high level, what the business is, why it was valuable, why it became popular and a thing and everything like that, right? Well, there are other things where the value is very, very, very deep in the business, right? So, if you look at SpaceX is probably an example where there's both. Like, there's a high level value there. We're a private company that launches rockets. and we all understand where value is in launching satellites and stuff. And the government only did that, and now private businesses can do that. Cool. But a lot of their value comes from the tiny little details they know about how to make a rocket, right? Like, they've had rockets blow up, they've had rockets failed, and there's little things that they learned and tweaks, and there's all sorts of proprietary knowledge. If SpaceX suddenly went bankrupt tomorrow, there would be a lot of organizational knowledge that would be lost, and that would be a huge value loss, right? Because there is that knowledge at the very, very deepest part of the business, the very, very bottom. If you go and you map out the ecosystem of the business, you know, there's this thing and these people, and then the top is Elon Musk or something like that, right? There is value down at the very, very bottom, right? And so I think that what tends to happen if you map it out as like a topographical map of sorts, right? When your value is at the very, very top, you get a very transformational business. When your value is at the bottom, you get a easier, like, it's a more of a moat. Like, that's information that's like really deep and is hard for other people to figure out, and it can be more valuable in the end, right? Ultimately, you want to have the value at every step, right? So our application, the value in our application is at the very bottom of that. It's in these teeny tiny little details about how you build trading software that very few people know, and that we know through decades of experience, and that very, very few people are able to do, because very few people have the experiences on both the trading side and the deep code side like I do, right? So I would expect there to be a lot of people out there making trading software, but their software isn't going to be nearly as good as mine is, right? That's where our value add, that's where like our moat is, essentially, right? So, and Steffa says that's right. That's how I look at it, right? I was gonna say something else there, but I don't know. Like, it's just kind of weird to me how with my platform, all of the stars aligned all at once. Because I had been looking at this back in November as like when I kind of started some things. And I was like, okay, well, you can do this more seriously. And this thing didn't work, and this thing didn't work, and couldn't figure out this thing. And then all of a sudden, around March of this year, it was like everything opened up. There's a new version of this library. There's a new version of Python that allowed the multi-threading, and I was able to get access to the Rhythmic API, and like everything just kind of came together, right? So now it's just, we got to go through and do it. There's maybe like 2 or 3 little detail things that I want to change about my platform. But some of them are small things. Like, I want themes for the candles so that I can change all of the charts in one place. I want my cumulative delta to be candles. And, you know, like little things like that, right? But I think that I've pretty much got the charting part of it working. And I guess I can just do the execution side myself if stuff really doesn't want to help. But I'm wondering, because with this week is kind of been a detour on the MBO thing. This is what happened for me to MBO exposure drove me. Yeah, so I'm wondering how much of a detour I should take right now for MBO. Say 301 cell stop, huh? Reload. Oh, there was a little bit back. 27.5. Huh? So what was this burst at? Price was 108.8593. Close my calculator. I'm wondering if I should just change the summary or if I should have it make it a full-fledged indicator so that I can see, okay, when there are stops, it'll draw little dots on there, and I can mouse over them to see how many there were. I don't know what the best way to do it would be, but 8.8593. Oh, wait, is that? Oh, 0.8 5 9375 9375 times 32 27.5. Yes. And you said it was 301. Okay. So oh, well, there was so many. There was so many there, I would have to add them all together. Okay, but I can do that. Copy. Forget what you do here. Select size. How do you do it with the? Okay, I guess I don't do it that way. Heck yeah. I gotta remember how to move to a specific character better. I probably could have done that a little bit more efficiently, but we're just going with what I know right now. 301. And Amir says 301. Oh, that's two confirmations. We've got it. We've got it. I'm excited again. I came in yesterday kind of looking at this and was kind of like a little like discouraged. Like, it doesn't seem like this is really like working, or probably isn't it. And now we've gone through and doing it. I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. The snapshot is streamed as a sequence of MBO records, enabling you to accurately reconstruct the entire order book without having to listen to the feed from the start of the trading session. That is a huge advantage. Now, for the stop thing, it doesn't matter. It's kind of interesting because the only reason that you need the MBO feed is to verify that there wasn't an order change. So like, if I'm kind of feel like I'm giving it all away, but I don't know. I feel like other people would figure it out. You're looking for an order ID that's really old. One of the ways that you could get an old order ID as the aggressor is it was an old limit order and they moved it, right? But if they moved it, then you get the MBO event, so you can discount it. Right? Yeah. So it totally works. Now, on that note, 30.5 is our regular session plus 2 sigma. So if we were to touch that, then I think that this gets really interesting. I suppose it would make sense that, after we have the PPI, maybe at CPI, people are kind of like, yeah, but PPI might be bad. But now that they're both good, it's kind of like all clear. We can buy treasuries now, maybe. Actually, you know what? I need to come back and look at this as well. Daily ZN. Well, okay. So first of all, on the range, it's not actually an unusual range. It's just that, again, volatility is really, really low. It's not a new, like, high that would, like, trigger any kind of momentum strategy. But it's close. Which kind of suggests to me that what we're more likely to get is, am I showing the right screen? Yeah, I am. But I think what we're more likely to get is we stay close to the regular session plus 2 sigma today, and then open up tomorrow with, above that, and then it kind of trends. And since tomorrow is a Friday, it might kind of just do a consolidation. But we could get more strong trend behavior in the treasuries next week. I'm not going to call it yet, but I think that there's a possibility of that. Should also point out that there does appear to be a change in trend in the spread, too. So maybe we're finally getting a turnaround for treasuries. I don't know. That would be kind of curious if that is what happened. Now I'm thinking about how we should do the indicator for showing stops. Because these other platforms, they just show it as like a bar at the bottom, right? Almost as like volume. I kind of feel like I would want to know where specific prices that it happened at, though. So maybe it would be better to do it as like, you know, those little dots. Kind of like the way that they do it with the icebergs in Jigsaw. And then that way, if they're at multiple prices in a bar, you could see that. I'm also wondering if you could do something like, if you mouse over the dot or you mouse over the bar, it would show you statistics about it. Like maybe it would list all of the orders out for you. Or it would give you a histogram of them so you could see their size and see if it was a large player that stopped out. I think we've proven that we're doing. So, you know what I was gonna say? We were talking earlier about like where the value in your application comes from, right? So there's another thing that I want to point out. Although I think that heuristic is or that way of thinking things will probably be really valuable for you look at approaching software. For my application, I have been working on this since basically November. Well, more dedicatedly since March. And I've had, Claude code the whole time. Okay, it's still taken me months. Why is that? Well, one, because it's just a big software package and it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of characters to write. Right? So, some people have this idea that like, oh, you're just going to one-shot software. Well, I don't know, maybe in the future, but with the technology that we have, it would probably cost you $50,000 in compute to recreate my application, right? From scratch like that. And that is if you had all of the decisions, right? I think that I've done a pretty good job at saving all of the architecture and the decisions in there. But there's still a lot that goes on as I'm building it, and you find things and we change things and all that sort of a thing, right? That happen. So right now, if you took all of my documents and tried to recreate the system with all of my documents, it wouldn't fit in the context. Isn't that interesting? So we live in a bizarre world now. Well, but it's actually not that bizarre. Like, here's the thing. Lots of people were able to make software before. And there was always kind of this thing like, hey, come on, there's like 20 trading platforms out there already, right? So even though the barrier to entry has kind of gotten lower, there was still always competition in that space, right? But some platforms are clearly much better than other ones, right? There's still value that can be added in software. It's just a question of where is your value? Because there's lots of software as a service companies out there where their value was only at the top level and they didn't have anything down at the bottom. And that's where I was saying that, like, if the value is at the top level, then you get a more transformational technology. But if the value add is at the bottom level, then you have something that's harder to duplicate. And that's what you're looking at right now. Is there's probably a lot of software as a service companies out there where what they do, the value add that they give, there's not really any value add at the bottom of that ecosystem. It's all at the top. And those are the ones that are vulnerable. Right? Architecture is important, license system too. Yeah, I still need to go and look at your suggestion for a licensing system, because I think that my licensing system works pretty well, but some of the roadblocks that we came across with it not working with Steph's internet and everything kind of makes me go, maybe I really should just use the third-party solution for that. I also need to look at what I want to use for the payment system, because before it, what I've used for my indicators, really, really simple system. You just go and buy it once, and then I provision you, and there's not too complicated of a setup, and it all went through PayPal. For this, we might need to have a more sophisticated billing system. I think that we're going to need to have something where it's like there's a lifetime license and there's a monthly license, and then there's a discount on the monthly license if you buy a year. So, and then I need a website. See, I've kind of been running this scrum, like, take it 2 weeks at a time and see where you're at. And I'm basically we have this last sprint. Then I suppose I should go and do some of those things. I should build the website, build the billing, all of that, and have a beta. If you start paying now, you get into the beta sort of a thing. And I think for that also we would limit it. I'm if we put it out 20 customers, 10 or 20 customers, I don't think that would sell out right away. Unless I had some viral video or something like that, right? I don't think that would sell out right away. Probably we would take a couple of months to get to 10. But then you go through that and then start building the execution side. It's kind of how I'm thinking about it. Oh, I guess the other big thing that I need to do is I need to talk to Rhythmic again. Let's see here. I heard this technique recently. Wondered if you do something similar. Intent in Markdown, Quint spec, temporal logic. If the Oracle AI writes Rust, checked against it, the spec is the truth, not the code. Kind of, I guess. So what I will do is I will give it a prompt and tell it to write a plan. I'll say, and here are the key details that I know. Because the whole thing is you'll go in and you say, okay, I know I need this, this, and this. But then there's all sorts of other tiny little details that will come up that you often don't think about until you start writing it. So if I give it that really high level spec, and then I have it write a plan, it will tend to write a really detailed plan about all of the things that I'm not thinking about, and a really thorough thing. And that plan alone is usually really solid. And then the next thing that I do is I start going over it and I say, this was more in the beginning. In these later stages, it hasn't been as necessary. But in the beginning, it was oh, okay. So that means we need to have this data structure that allows us to have multiple feeds and to allow different processes to subscribe to them and all that sort of stuff. So I know that that's a thing. So then I start going through it with okay, so now we need to decide what is the architecture going to be for this key decision? What is the data structure going to be for this key decision, right? And I have it put those things into the plan. So I go through all of that to say, I think you get significantly better results if there are technical details in your spec. there are technical details in your spec, you get a much, much better code. Because what happens is the LLM just goes out and, does its whole next token prediction thing. And what it comes out with there is not necessarily the thing that is the best architecture decision for the system. And so then next time you write something that's attached to that code, the large language model ends up like completely rewriting that code. So after a week, you have these files that have been overwritten hundreds of times. And it gets to this point where like the large language model can't do anything without rewriting, like it just becomes spaghetti code. That's kind of like the state that Claude Code, when it was leaked to us, was in, right? So like a bunch of people doing, vibe coding on it and not putting any technical details into it. And so you have all of this dead code and all of these other things. Yeah. So spec-driven AI-assisted coding, yes. But include technical details. You want technical details in your spec. You have to consider the technical things, because if you leave every technical decision up to the large language models right now, they will make the worst decisions on those things. And you'll get this software that's extremely slow and difficult to maintain. Okay, there's 109 even. Doing like, well, thank you. I hope that you guys all end up buying our platform, because I'm super excited about it. Yeah. Kind of thinking about like, should I be just using only my platform right now? We're getting close. I think one thing that I want to do though is should have used work trees. Wow. My target directory has become 101 gigabytes. No way. No way. And where is it all in the debug folder? Yeah. It's all in the debug folder. Why is that? Build? No, only 2 gigabytes in build. Depths. $34 gigabytes. Well, I think I can just delete the target directory, right? It's just the next build will take longer. Dash status. Oh, it's Thursday, so we can keep going for another hour. Man, I should have been on this trend, shouldn't I? I mean, it's been nothing but up. It's way outperforming now too. Okay. Oh, yeah, I've used almost the whole. Used 95% of my current session, and it resets at 11:30. So. But I'm hoping those tiny little details that I can kind of fix those ones so that next week we don't even open NinjaTrader. How cool would that be? Oh, you know what? In order to get rid of NinjaTrader, I think I also need the volume profiles. I mean, I don't ever look at volume profiles. I mean, I don't do anything with them, but it's kind of like a comfort thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, volume profile is really important. Everyone is using it. So, like, if I come over here and I look at my charts, like, so, and I pull up my daily charts, what realistically am I using? I don't even know what that rock volatility indicator is anymore. I can't remember. Okay, but I got a spread, which I already have that. Although I don't have it as an indicator. I have it as a separate chart right now. So I need to go back and do that. Hold on. Where's my thing right here? Spread subseries. Okay. And ATR. Okay, and then when we come over to these ones, it is just the volume profile and session lines, but we're gonna have session lines. We definitely will have a volume profile in there. But the question is, like, do I really need it in there before I personally stop using NinjaTrader? Yes. There might be some tweaking that I need to do, but then I don't think there's really any indicators that are super important here. R squared, but that's like easy. Yeah. Offrey says it's easy to make nice versions of a VP. Well, yeah, but like, so like the thing is, I can come in and I can make a volume profile that, what does it do? It shows you a profile for the whole session, and it shows you it colors the point of control, and the value area high and low is different. Right. And that's like the basic volume profile, right? Now, out in the marketplace, because I think a lot of the people that are going to be interested in this kind of software are going to, care a lot about how good your volume profile is. So what are the other features you can add in there that will really give you an edge over other volume profiles? Developing POC is a good one. I do want to have that in it. What do you mean by bid, ask, and delta? You mean you want a bid profile and an ask profile and a delta profile? Okay. I want the ability to exclude the open and close, because most of the volume happens at the open and close and is based on that open or close price. So if you don't include like the last minute and first minute, you should get a significantly different volume profile. Okay. Developing POC. Signed a volume profile. What do you mean by I use freehand profiles? Wow, are we at 02?
Block cell.
That's past the weekly numbers. Because any close above 0.5, I think, is significant. Oh, you draw the profile over it. Yeah, okay. That's a different thing. That is profile. I see what you're saying. You want a volume profile drawing tool so that you can specify where the start and end of a profile is. Okay, isn't too long of a move relative to the delta amount? Well, let's see here. I'll come over here to the charts. You can see what I'm looking at. I need to expand it a little bit to see where we started. So we were at negative 31. And now we're at positive 7. So we've had about a 40K change in cumulative delta. So, and that is in line with what I would expect. Like, not that I was expecting a huge rally, but now that it's happened and the market has decided, okay, now that we have all of the CPI, PPI are both through, and we had the non-farms too. I guess that was a key data point, right? Now we're free to do the thing. So it's going to be a trend day. Large funds are reallocating here, right? 50K and maybe even 60, 70, 80K is like totally what you can get, right? So, the difficulty now is that you're in a day where where we're outperforming volatility, right? Like basically, if you had bought calls at the beginning of the day, you'd be making money because it's moved far more than what volatility was pricing, right? When that happens, you really can't predict how far it's going to go. Or at least I have not been able to find anything that predicts how far it's going to go. And I've read a lot of stuff from people, researchers and stuff, saying that like when it gets into this mode, it always surprises, it always outperforms your best estimates. And it's just a crazy thing that we just can't predict very well. Right? So that's why it's kind of like, you know, I like those volatility targets. And if I'm getting trend, like in a situation like this, I might hold it. Where do I take profits at? I think a lot of that is maybe just kind of luck of the draw at that point, to be honest with you. Or you do it based on a timing. You know, something like this, I find has a tendency to go all day, or at the very least until the end of the London close, which would be like 90 minutes from now or whatever. A little less than 90 minutes from now, right? Another thing, by the way, I should add is that you've seen liquidity has increased on the move up, right? Like we got 7Ks at like almost every price now back through there. So this is a strong trend. You don't want to get in front of it, that's for sure. Databricks just finished a funding round. That's interesting. So the company that I work for, when we were looking at being acquired and, you know, who are the big people that would do it, and Databricks was like one of the targets. It's curious to know that they're doing a funding round. So they would probably never have been in the place to buy a company like that. Brenda says, if that helps with understanding things, yeah. I don't feel like I completely answered the question though, because you're talking about the ratio, right? You're talking about how far it goes relative to the volume, right? So remember that the size of a large meta order, the impact of a large meta order follows a square root law with respect to the size of the order, but it follows a linear relationship with respect to the volume imbalance. Okay. So that kind of means that as long as this volume imbalance persists, they can keep pushing, right? But when you start to think of it from the perspective of, okay, there's going to be these large companies and these large institutions and they're all buying, and I predict that that total amount is like 60K net or whatever, like their ability to keep pushing it like decreases more and more the further we get. I think in this situation, they've been able to get pretty far without that effect coming in, because volatility, implied volatility was like still really low coming into it. NQ got out the pen and ran away. Yeah, markets are really liking this, aren't they? They're really, I mean, the treasuries are really liking this. I have felt for this whole period, how far back can I go? Like how far that I felt like this? Yeah, I would say, yeah, going all the way back to, oh wait, where is yeah. Okay, yes, I remember this. I remember this. Okay. When we kind of started failing in this area, you know, I was still of the opinion like they're too aggressive. It's not that big of a deal. It's gonna be fine. Then now we've kind of gotten in this place. Although I should say that just because we're breaking out here a little bit doesn't mean that we're going to get back up to like the yearly high, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm being a little bit ADHD today. I will like say something and then I had like 5 points and I forget some of them. There was a point I wanted to make to rounder. Okay, don't go short the treasuries today. like when it's doing something like that, do not short it. And if you really, really insist on shorting it, it's only going to be for a few ticks. Because I tell you what, you're going to see a day happen. Probably not today, but you're probably going to see at some point a move where it moves like this and then completely reverses it before the end of the day. That totally has happened before. I've definitely seen that happen multiple times and been like on the wrong side of that and been like, oh man, I could have just shorted and ran the thing all the way back. That's so insane, right? Now I always miss those, right? The small possibility of that happening isn't worth it. What you want to do is be in after the news and said, yeah, this is going to lead to really strong flows all day, and just try and hold it as long as you can and accept that you're probably going to get out a little early. I guess if you were using certain trailing stop rules like six tick trailing stop, you probably wouldn't get triggered yet. Look at that. There's a huge iceberg, almost 7K at 03, just below the high. After all that, it really is quite a wild move, isn't it? I think that if I had not been focused on the MBO thing and everything, and I had come in really thinking I should take a trade, I should have taken a trade. I didn't take a trade not because it wasn't there. I didn't even think about it. And I think that everything about the way that I functioned would have said to have gone long. Although I don't think, the question is at what point would I have done it? Because it might not have really excited me until like the 26th, and then we were at these, so maybe a little bit past that, and then I probably would have only taken this. It's a crazy move, man. That's a crazy move. Well, should be careful also, because another thing that can happen, actually something that's really, really likely to happen, is like you buy 03 and then it comes all the way back to 30.5. Like it comes back to the R+2 sigma. Happens a ton. And the thing is, I don't think we've really seen the meta order subside this whole time. So when it subsides, there is going to be a slump. It's going to come back. Don't try and trade that mean reversion like you're looking for that. That's asking for trouble. But it probably will happen. Man. Well, let me come in here. Iran says it reorganized military to be more aggressive in protracted conflict after U.S. long miscalculated. Okay. That's the head story on Zero Hedge, huh? NVIDIA deal is beginning of the end for AI compute boom. I don't know, because Because if financial conditions get easier from here, that's only going to help that whole AI trade, right? There's our story about the PPI. Well, let's read it. There might be some interesting details. Following yesterday's cooling in-line consumer price inflation data, driven in large part by energy deflation, U.S. producer prices were expected to rebound modestly in July from a spot 3% month-over-month decline in June. Instead, headline producer prices were unchanged month-over-month, which was cooler than expected, pushing the annual change down from 5.5% to 4.7% year-over-year. Core PPI, that is PPI ex food and energy, also printed cooler than expected, spot 2% month-over-month versus the expected spot 3%, and dragging core PPI year-over-year down to 4.2%. Final demand services. Prices for final demand services advanced spot 2% in July after rising 0.5% in June. The July increase can be traced to the index for final demand services less trade, transportation, and warehousing, which moved up spot 6%. Conversely, the indexes for final demand transportation and warehousing services and for final demand trade services decreased 1.8% and 0.1% respectively. Product detail. Leading the July increase in prices for final demand services, the index for portfolio management advanced 6.5%. Margins for health, beauty, and optical goods retailing, automobiles, automobile parts, lawn, garden, farm equipment, supplies retailing, food and alcohol retailing, food and alcohol wholesaling also moved higher. In contrast, prices for truck and transportation of freight fell 1.8%. The indexes for machinery and vehicle wholesaling for securities and for securities brokerage, dealing, and investment advice also decreased. As stocks accelerate to new highs, so portfolio management costs soar. Interesting. Final demand goods. The index for final demand goods fell spot 7% in July after moving down 1.4% in June. A major factor in the July decrease was a 3.1% decline in prices for final demand energy. The index for final demand foods moved down 0.9%. Conversely, prices for final demand goods, less food and energy, increased spot 1%. Product detail. More than half the July decrease in the index for final demand goods can be attributed to a 5.7% decline in prices for gasoline. The indexes for fresh and dry vegetables, diesel fuel, jet fuel, residual fuels, and thermoplastic resins and materials also fell. In contrast, prices for motor vehicles and equipment moved up spot 3%. The indexes for electric power and grains also increased. Energy remains a major driver of the deflationary impulse. Full breakdown. Goods deflated for the second month in a row, while services rose for the second month in a row. Recent rapid surge in memory prices has stabilized but is not dropping. The CCI PPI spread continues to signal increased pressure on corporate margins. So the bottom line is the energy price declines are now deflationary, while soaring memory costs and stock portfolio management fees are driving aggregate prices higher. So, should the Fed pop the AI/memory compute bubble in the same way it's unable to impact a supply shortage in the energy markets, which overall means that the market is now pricing in less than one rate hike in 2026. Rate hike expectations remain flat from yesterday, as today's PPI merely confirmed the lack of pressure on Warsh to act with any urgency. Well, yeah, but they posted that like an hour ago, so it sure has moved. Wow, 13K iceberg at O2, huh? Okay. Oh, you know what I totally was forgetting? Is that we have a 30-year auction today, too. Which might explain the massive icebergs. Here I'm reading about the Iran. Khamenei's son Mojtaba is putting his own stamp on the country's national security policy amid a confrontation with the U.S. that could last months or even years. Okay, well, we're not even sure if Mojtaba is even alive, so I kind of question the. This seems like a propaganda piece. What? Could it last months or even years? That's kind of curious to me. Could this go on for years? I suppose maybe it could. Except for that, like, they've got like a new nuclear facility, and yeah, they're gonna come in and do something at some point. They got through the iceberg because there's a little bit more at 1/2. Well, breaching an iceberg like that is a pretty good sign. So I'm going to say if I had somehow held it all this way, that I would probably be getting out there. So we'll see in the next 30 minutes if they make a new high or if that ends up being the right call. Really? Why Japanese firms are being so slow to use AI? Just 8.4% of Japanese workers use AI as part of their job compared to 50% in the US and 32% in the UK. I've been learning ICT for 8 months, but still can't become consistent. What am I doing wrong? You're trading ICT. That's what's wrong. Man, okay, so like 2 days ago or something like that, YouTube like changed some things about how to get into the partner program. I don't think that it affects people that are already in the partner program, and we're okay anyways. But man, the conversation, the people that are posting at least are so upset. These people that their whole goal has been to get into the YouTube partner program, and now it seems like it is completely out of reach. They are pissed. Okay. 01. Still a lot trading. What's something you're 100% convinced is true, but have no evidence for? There's also a lot of people on Reddit upset about the AI companies putting watermarks on their products. Let's see here. Did you see your message? Oh, I did. YouTube made a lot of big changes recently. Hopefully some get ironed out. Many of the changes are bad, very, very bad. Not good at all for you either. So which one do you think is going to matter to me? I think that with the changes that they made, that there's no way that I will ever get paid for YouTube Shorts. But I wasn't getting paid for YouTube Shorts before anyways, so. So the change that everybody is upset about is that to get into the YouTube Partner Program, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have, what is it, 8,000 watch hours in a year. Which, one, I'm already in the partner program. Two, I already pass in the past year both of those qualifications. But is there another change that I should be concerned about? I mean, I'm concerned about where YouTube is going in general, you know? That change came with algo changes and tweaks. Okay, and what were the algo changes? I mean, I've been concerned about the direction of the platform in general for several years now, because it feels like that everything is just, you know, like clickbait. Like, you know, my channel really grew because of people searching. You know, I got most of my traffic from search. And when they kind of switched to most traffic comes through the For You page, there was a noticeable shift in the traffic on our page, right? So that's been going on for a long time, and I don't know what else they could do that would be. Let's see here. Introducing how AI is fighting to ban all ASMR channels, stop motion animation, any channel that is seen as AI repetitive nonsense. So, for example, my worry is your live stream title image. Oh, yeah, but, you know, it's a live stream. I would hope that live streams would be treated differently. If it's the same every time, that could trigger. But for example, I'm subscribed and it is well, but so here's the thing. When I put out a VOD, like a real video, and it doesn't show you that's when I get kind of like frustrated. That's when I'm like, maybe I need to change something. Like I need to put the live stream in a different channel and yada, yada, yada. Because there's these fears that like the algorithm says I'm going to give this channel so much exposure, and it chooses a certain percentage of the exposure to be live stream videos. Those aren't going to be the ones that people click on, and so then you don't do as well. And so some people were not listing their stream videos after the fact. Things like that because of those concerns. Yeah, even though they're the most. But it seems to me like that the algo is realized that people just don't click on live streams. So the change that has been the most divisive, from my observation at least, is the whole thing that you need like 2 million views every 3 months or something like that to stay partnered for YouTube Shorts, which is nuts. Like hardly, like even they're cutting off like 99% of YouTube Short creators, right? And why are they doing that? Is that just they're trying to cut costs? I don't know. But a lot of people theorize that it's because YouTube kind of doesn't like shorts. And to be honest, I don't think I like shorts. Like, I don't like the platform. Well, maybe I do, and I don't. I don't like this thing where the platform is supposed to be like multiple things. I can go to YouTube and I can watch long form content, short form content, and live content. Well, maybe to some extent it's helped because, you know, the live stream was the thing that really got this started, and the other videos, I don't know how well we would have done without the live stream part. They might be separate. I don't know. So I don't know on that part. If they separated them out completely, though, like I as a viewer would like that. Like, yeah, there's YouTube and there's YouTube Shorts and there's YouTube Live, but like they're separate applications or separate screens. Like, I'm not going to go to the YouTube front page and get live stream and YouTube Short recommendations. It's just going to be VOD videos, because when I go to the YouTube front page, that's what I'm looking for. Like this thing where it you know, you pull up YouTube, right? And then I'm scrolling down and it's shorts. Like, I don't like that. If I wanted to view shorts, I would just click shorts and start scrolling, right? Like the advantage of short form content isn't that it's short. The advantage of it is that I can just brainlessly scroll and not have to think about, you know, because when I do this, I'm kind of like, I'm scrolling down and being like, okay, I'm gonna do this one. Yeah, ring Nord, I want to listen to that. The kettlebell exercise I wish I learned 30 years ago. Okay. You know, and then it's more shorts. I just scroll past those, right? Enjoy that. I shall avoid that. Well, and here's the other thing is that if I want to scroll like that, I still go to TikTok. On the TikTok side, when I'm looking at like TikTok videos kind of targeted towards creators and things like that, everybody is complaining that TikTok doesn't give them any visibility anymore. And they're all more interested in Instagram, which is kind of weird. Yeah. Now, on the YouTube Live thing, well, we're on YouTube Live, and I've felt like that doing it on live, you get a bigger audience, and it helps the YouTube channel and all of that sort of a thing. If YouTube split live out, that would be kind of interesting, because I think most of the lives out there are actually just trash and wares and stuff. I think the reality is just that YouTube's strategy, vision, has been mismanaged for a long, long time. And the thing that's kind of keeping them in the game is that they have such a large workforce there at YouTube, built for engagement with the community and with creators. And they understand that creators are the lifeblood of the platform. Now, if nobody can make money from YouTube anymore, or like all new creators get frozen out of it, then that's going to screw the platform over too, right? Anyways, it's all weird. Because the thing is that I feel like that it just sends me the same steady stream of traffic no matter what I do. Let's see here. The average common person walking down the street is starting to think of YouTube as just the AI slap nonsense place that has nothing of value. Remember, even if YouTube has value content, if you can't find it, it doesn't exist. But I don't feel like that what it recommends to me is AI slop. So I'm just coming over here. Like some of these I wouldn't necessarily wouldn't necessarily click on, but okay. I know why it's recommending this video. I don't care about Grok, but I would normally click on that sort of a thing. Okay, snowboarding. Cool. That particular title, I like this guy. That particular title doesn't interest me. There's a live stream. I basically never click on live streams. 1 billion to Forgotten How Dollar Shave Club lost everything. That's interesting to me. If I was bored and I didn't have anything else to watch, I would probably pull that in. These videos are always good. You know, like most of these. Okay, then it's a bunch of shorts. Then it's he wants me to do a mixed playlist. Okay, screw that. Mike Israeti's latest book is AI slop. Really? Well, that's disappointing. StarCraft stuff. Okay, this I'm kind of like, I don't know why that's being recommended to me. Must be big in that space. But I haven't seen anything on here. I haven't seen any of these videos that look like AI slop to me. It will put a banner over videos that are proven as AI and tell you as such, or auto block if you set it to. Community rant. That's you won't notice until you've run the blocker. But like these are all creators that like I watch regularly and know. Okay, this one, Iron Man becomes Doctor Doom. That might be AI. So there's no person. That might be AI. Jesse N. Kemp, I've watched him before. This video right here, I don't know this guy, but I saw people talking about it on Reddit. That one is there because my wife was looking up videos to install their CarPlay system. Okay, this doesn't look like AI slop to me, but this looks like clickbait. This is one of those things where it's like, oh, you need to watch this immediately, and then they're going to tell me a bunch of shit that I already know. Matrix Explains. I've watched videos from them before. I don't think that that's AI generated, but I could be wrong. He might be using AI to help with his scripts. Ad block for you, but I don't want to run ad block on YouTube because I want the people that I'm watching their video to get paid for their videos. Like, this is one of the things that like really boggles my mind about the internet is like they hate ads on everything, right? A part of the thing was YouTube, originally the ads weren't very obtrusive, and they've gotten a lot more obtrusive, right? Okay, but let's just assume that they're not obtrusive. Even then, people would still complain about the ads and use ad block and stuff. And it's like, how do you expect anybody to make content or to even provide a service like that? They can't make money from the ads. Come on, guys. I don't want to do that. Okay, you're gonna find ad block. Let's see here. Ad block rate. Which one is it called? Ad block for YouTube. Ad block for YouTube. Chrome Web Store. This one right here. I don't think that's the right one. Yeah, I am not reading it. I probably am not reading them all. I don't know what y'all on. Oh, not ad block, artificial intelligence block. Okay. Artificial intelligence block. This one? YouTube AI blocker Chrome Web Store? Let's try that one. Okay, so we'll only highlight it instead of show. Okay. Now we go to YouTube. Hey, look at this. There's this guy called The White Dragon, and he has made a remix of Motorcyclist. The Rush Comes. That sounds dope. I'm going to listen to that. Oh, yeah, that's good shit right there. I know that you can't hear it, and I'm listening to that and stream beats at the same time, but I immediately hear it. It's like boom, doo, 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 doo. I love it. That's good. This is a hidden gem. It's a shame that that only has 985 views. It's just a shame. Okay. Anyways, we're scrolling down. I mean, it hasn't flagged anything yet. I was replaced by AI. That's great. Okay. Maybe if I go to... This isn't the... I don't actually browse with this account. I browse with this account. I did this every morning and now I'm worth $2 billion. I hate those kinds of titles. Yeah, it's not filled up. Good, GG. I don't know. I bet you that if I opened this up on my kids' oh wait, actually I can still do that. Let's see here. I use this one right here is the one that my kids use. And it's going to show me a bunch of Tyler Snowy nonsense. I don't know. So when you view it, do you really get tons of videos are flagged as AI? So when I look at this page, I don't see anything that's obviously AI, But what I do see is exactly the kind of content that I hate, that I feel has ruined YouTube. So there's all just this formulaic clickbait junk. Where's content where I'm really gonna see something unique and edifying, and I learned something new, and like it's really engaging. It's not like that anymore. It's more like, can I use this pre-existing pattern to get the most clicks on the video? I hate it. He says, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, so like more broadly speaking, well, let's get this. Gonna remove. YouTube has been fighting AI generated videos very heavily, right? You have to mark it as that it has AI generated content, and if it detects AI and you didn't mark it that way, they remove it. And they've been pretty aggressive about it too. And they've kind of gone along with the, well, you know, we care about our creators, and we think that allowing AI slop on our platform hurts those creators. So they've been good on that side, right? I see AI slop literally everywhere else. You know, it pisses me off is when I'm reading Reddit and like all of these posts are like, once you start reading them, you realize that it's probably AI. Right? I've been thinking about the distinction between a trading system and a trading strategy, and I'm curious how other traders see it. To me, strategy is more about the actual market approach, what condition you look for, and why you enter or exit. A system feels broader, rules for execution, risk management, trade selection, journaling, and consistency around that strategy. But maybe I'm overcomplicating it. How do you personally define the difference between a trading system and a trading strategy? And do you have a well-defined system that actually makes a meaningful difference to performance, or is the strategy itself the main thing? I'm interested to hear how experienced traders approach this. It's always got to have that little thing at the very end that is basically like baiting for the conversation to continue, right? Like that's the key. That one is slightly suspicious. Is Fable 5 gaslighting me, or has it become completely unhinged? There's lots of stuff. Am I the only one who is feeling this? Why is it? It's always like this one sentence paragraph at the end that's all by itself. When you come into these trading subreddits, though, there's so many. Right, here's the one, last sentence, one sentence paragraph by itself. He's made it bold. Humans don't do this shit. This is probably AI. Well, who is this? How long have you been around? One karma, 4-day-old account. This is a robot. It's probably a robot. I don't know. And then it's like, why would a robot have any reason to post stuff like this? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why are people making all of these AI posts on Reddit? Or is it individuals that they don't trust their own writing, and so they use the AI to write it, hoping that the AI written one will be more successful? PayPal says most likely. So just went over to the page to the AI blocker that you got, which wasn't related to AI slop list. Oh, okay. Let's try this. AI slop list Chrome extension. AISlopList.com. Get the extension. Well, it's Chrome, so I think we do this, yeah. Add extension. Okay, it's been added. Now we're gonna refresh this page over here. So am I supposed to, what does it look like when it says that it's blocked something? How to start making AI videos. It doesn't give me the... Oh, here we go. Warning, potential AI video. Okay, so now we know that it does something. Let me come back to the account that I usually browse with. No. Okay. Okay. 8 hours of sleep is a myth. I feel like I sometimes need to get more sleep. One of the problems that I'm having right now is that like we're like so busy in the evening, and that when like my wife finally comes to bed, not that we can do anything once she comes to bed, it's too late, but I at least want to like tease her and stuff like that, and then that like wakes me up, or at least cuddle her, and that wakes me up, and then I have to go back to this. I'm just not sleeping very well right now. But do you need 8 hours? I do kind of wonder, because I usually only get 7. Oh, look, it showed me one. Okay, what is the video? Why the Japanese master anything faster than anyone? It's insane. Oh, you know what? I saw this the other day and I thought, I could click on that, but I've got other stuff to watch right now. It's too far down on the priority list. I'm not going to watch it. Okay. But you know what? Like a video like that, I don't like if all of the images and stuff are AI generated. It's okay as long as the content is good. Like the thing that I really hate, I get these on TikTok, is where they're like, I saw this one yesterday, AI generated content about the movie Tombstone. You watch one Tombstone clip all the way through, and all of a sudden the algorithm's like, we need him on Tombstone Talk. That's where we need, right? And then they're like, here's the deep, dirty secret behind Tombstone that you're never seeing until you look closer, blah, blah, blah. Like this kind of nonsense, right? Like 5 seconds into the video, I'm like, stop! Go to the comments. The reason, or the thing was that one of the actors was actually the director, and the director didn't really do a whole lot of the directing. Okay, yeah. They answered it in one comment, and we are going to make me watch a 2-minute video. No, that's the kind of AI slop that pisses me off, right? This content where they do really, really good at making something sound like, I've got to listen to this so that I can get all the way through. But then I go, wait, this is AI. It's probably what the payoff isn't going to be there. It's just going to be stupid. I should just look in the comments. Right? MCP goes stateless. I watched that video and I was like, they didn't really have a whole lot there, but that's okay. It shouldn't be this hard to buy a printer. Just get the brother. Okay. There, I saved you 20 minutes. I haven't watched this video, but if at the very end they don't get the brother, I bet you that's what happens. Just get the brother printer. All right. So these ones about free RIN, that would, be likely to be AI generated. But I think that this one is actually like this guy does video essays. So, yeah, I don't get very many of them on my screen, apparently. Linus should be AI slop these days. I think it's so interesting, like the fall off in content. Like when they had the drama, like I think first there was the drama about the Gamers Nexus thing, which I thought was the dumbest thing in the world. But then they had like some drama with certain major writers leaving. And yeah, since then, the Linus Tech Tip videos haven't been very interesting. I wouldn't call them slop, but they're not very interesting. I don't know. Maybe part of it is that there's not, because of the hardware shortage and everything, there's not a lot of hardware to review. The things that Linus himself is doing now aren't things that are particularly relevant or things that I would want to do. And so it's just not interesting anymore. He made a video showing how they fired everyone and are using AI for all their content ideas and scripts and more. And some of us saw it for what it was, just trying to get ahead of the jokes. Yeah. Well, like I think the thing is that most people doing writing use AI to help them now. So I'm trying to think here on my videos. I kind of intentionally put some stuff in here so that I could kind of keep track of like when stuff shifted. So there was the one where where is it? Oh, maybe I got rid of it. No, it's right here. Okay. So this video right here was the point at which AI could like make a video, right? So all of these videos that came afterwards, I had AI at my disposal. And what I would do, generally speaking, is I would write the whole thing up first, and then I would have AI make suggestions to it, and I would incorporate its suggestions. That's what I did, right? This one right here, the most recent one, the Secret to Day Trading: Understanding the True Nature of Markets. I had the base idea. That one I went back and forth with the LLM way more than anything else. And you know what? I thought it was so good. I thought it was so good. Well, 500 views. I don't know. But that could be better. That could be better. That's all I'm saying. Kind of pisses me off that like these videos about the hardware stuff all do so much better than everything else. I also so there was some back here. I don't even know where they are. Dark pools. Yeah, I made that image in the back with AI and then put myself in front of it to generate that image. A lot of these I've had like people say, "Hey, I should do your thumbnails," and so I let them do them, and then I'm kind of like, like really, all this one, they were all done by separate people. And I don't think that any of them really performed better than any of the other thumbnails that I have. Probably the biggest weakness on my channel, like, oh, why doesn't Seth's channel do better? It's probably thumbnails. It's probably thumbnails. Yeah, they all look exactly the same. Well, they don't look, I don't think that they look exactly the same. Like, the style of them are very different. The thing that I think is really weird is that AI enhances your face and makes you look like it makes my beard look more Middle Easternish. I don't know how to put it. That's the weird. You can, but so I can definitely see differences in the style of it, but nothing that helps. Nothing that helps the click-through rate from what I can see, you know? Because the creators were going by the book. I don't know. Anyways, this is like, I think that what these are is like, there's a lot of people in third world countries that are like, you know, I can go and I can go and I can make these thumbnails and I can make like 20 thumbnails a day, and that's a good living for them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you get a high quality thumbnail, you know. And I'm looking for like the X factor, you know, something where, you know, there's something clear about that thumbnail that it converts significantly higher than the others. And I just don't get that. I get like the, let's see here. I should be going. I'm 10 minutes over my time, right? And I don't know if any of this kind of stuff interests, probably like a lot of people are like, nah, I don't want to listen to this. Nobody cares, Seth. Impression click-through rate. See more. Yeah, breakdown. Content. Last year. Well, it says that the videos with the best, like, oh, let's remove the filter. Yeah, we don't want the filter. Actually, let's do content type only videos apply. There we go. Why price action is garbage. Has the best click-through rate. Oh, really, YouTube? Then why aren't you sending me more traffic for that particular thing? That's curious. Workspace walkthrough. That one does really well, huh? Like, none of those videos that other people did the thumbnail for are showing up there on the highest click-through rate for the past year. They're all ones that I did. Okay, whatever. Negative content always does good. Trying to teach someone to be better. Make a video instead saying this is why you're wrong. But no, but you know what? Like, I've never found those particular videos to do particularly well either. Like, this is the thing. So like, if you come back and look at content views, okay. What are the things that make my videos that have the most views? What gets them up there? Okay. There's one about trading hardware. Here's one about dominant order flow trading. I wonder if this one is because I should hide the revenue. Well, you've already seen it, but I don't think YouTube likes you to show that stuff. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Okay, whatever. You're going to see it. I think that one, it does well because it's like the first in the order flow video series. Okay. But then what do we got? Something about NinjaTrader. Something about NinjaTrader. What is the best software trading platform? Rhythmic versus CQG. Something about NinjaTrader. Something about Top Step. Here's another order flow video series one. Ninja Script. Jigsaw settings. Right? So if I'm mentioning a product, a trading platform, a prop firm, a piece of hardware, those are the videos that get clicks. Or those are the videos that the algorithm pushes. And the ones that are like, you know, what you're doing is dumb. Well, like here's improving volume profile. Actually, that one did relatively well for what it is. Why technical analysis fails. That's one that in the beginning didn't do well. But that one that we were just pointing out that was, you know, that had a high click-through rate, but it was kind of negative. It doesn't push that out. Saying price action sucks didn't do well. So this kind of leaves you with a couple of weird, interesting questions going forward, right? Because if our next thing is to push our own trading platform, will YouTube push out the content about our own trading platform? Or not? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I kind of suspect that what happens is that YouTube pushes videos about products because it makes them more money. Guys, I should get going. I will see you tomorrow. Stay excellent.